One second, let me just say good morning. It's Thursday, the second day of Chol Hamoed, Sukkot, and it's, what is it, October 3rd today? October 4th. Okay, it's the 4th day of October. What parsha goes this week, Benny? Incorrect.
Oh, for Shabbos.
I ask you, what parsha goes this week? What are we going to learn this Shabbos? Which parsha? No, this Shabbos is void of any parsha. There's no parsha this week. Shabbos Chol Hamoed, there's never a parsha, a traditional parsha from the Torah. This Shabbos, I believe we learn Kehelis.
You must read the Torah.
We read the Torah, but we don't read the parsha. We read the parsha. Maybe Kesisa, I don't remember. But in addition to that, we also read Kehelis. Kehelis, most people say was written either by Shmuel or Shlomo Melech. It's really in a way, a very depressing prophecy. It's actually part of the writings. We have Torah, Nevi'im, Ksuvim. This is part of Ksuvim. It's one of the 5 Megillot. We have Megillot Esther.
I think they had a problem to put it in or not to put it in, then decided to add it to the...
Yes. Megillah. Right. So what are the 5 Megillos? Let's see, Benny.
Megillat
Esther.
Megillat Tisha B'Av.
Eicha.
Megillat
Ruth.
This one is the 4th one.
Kehelis.
And Haggadah, is it?
No. The holiest one of all.
Shiur Shirim.
Exactly. Shiur Shirim, which we learn on Shavuos. Some people also read it after the Seder, Pesach.
We read it every Friday.
And Sephardim read it every Friday. Hasidim read it every Friday before Mincha, before Kabbalah Shabbos.
Shiur Shirim also written by Shlomo Melech.
Shiur Shirim, Asher L'Shlomo, yes. And Shiur Shirim is a love poem between man and God.
But I like Kohelet from all of it because it's really sincere. You know, he tell you the truth of life. You know, what Shlomo did in all his life and how he accomplished it in his life, and he tried to do it, and he said at the end.
At the end is everything.
Way.
Everything is dust in the wind. Good morning. Good morning. Ari, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay.
But at the end, he says you have to come to God.
The end is that at the end you have to realize that everything in this world is really, really mundane.
Oh yeah.
And with that, we have the first. Okay. Sorry, there's no coffee today. Benny didn't let me get coffee.
That's okay.
So I warmed up the water over here.
I'll forgive you this time.
This time, okay.
No, I'll keep for you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. Now, okay. Okay, so let's. Today and tomorrow, if I'll be here. We'll still talk about Sukkot and about the Yom Tovim, and then in Yirtzeh Hashem B'li Neder, after the Yom Tov, we'll go back to our traditional learning of Mishnah Berurah. Okay. But I just want to talk a little bit about Sukkot today. We're in the second day of Chol Hamoed. Today's really a Yom Tov, and especially for people who don't put on tefillin today. You know, some do, some don't. You put on tefillin? Okay, I thought maybe Sephardim put on tefillin. No. So
none of this.
So Sephardim, like Orthodox people, they also don't put on tefillin. And And for those people that don't put on tefillin, they should really consider today a yontif. I mean, why don't you put on tefillin on Shabbos?
Because you need 2 ot.
Exactly.
What's that?
You need 2 ot. Say that, 2 ot.
2 ot.
Yeah, you need 2 signs. You need 2 signs that you're a Jew, that you're in Hashem's realm. So a Jew has 1 sign on him 24/7.
What about the ladies?
Ladies don't put on tefillin.
No, but they should have 2 ot too, no?
No, they don't need it. The ladies, ishteke gufay. A woman is part of her husband. So a man always has on his person a sign that he's a Jew. Do you know what that is?
The one that you sometimes use it, sometimes you don't use it.
Yeah.
Okay, a man is circumcised, and this is and it's bris olam. That means it's a sign forever. So Shabbos is also a bris because it says over there bris olam also. V'shamru b'nei Shabbos, the deroisam bris olam. So we have 2 signs. So we have the sign of Shabbos and the sign of Milah. So we don't need the tefillin, and that's why we don't need it on Yontiv either.
That's why.
But only if you keep it as a Yontiv. If you don't keep it as a Yontiv, you should really put on tefillin. So
no, we do say Hallel.
we do say
We
halal.
do lulavet.
Yeah,
so,
but people say you should dress in finer clothing, and you should really. You're only allowed to really work at something that if you don't work at it, you will lose money.
Yeah.
Now, which is different than not making money.
Okay.
Okay, you're
if
not
I don't make money, I lose money.
no. It's called the loss of income is not the same as the loss of money. Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Stern. So on Chalamot, technically, you're only allowed to do things which, if you don't do it, you will lose money. Okay?
Let's say
You can't do anything that will make you money, but you're allowed to do something that you will lose money. So take, for example, the Sterns. They have a pizza store open. Technically, they should not be able to be open on Chalamot because they can say, we're not open Chalamot, we're not going to make any money. That's exactly the reason why you shouldn't be open. You're not supposed to make money on Chalamot. So what's the permission? They're under the star K. So why do they get permission to open? So the answer is very clearly.
Can I give an answer?
Yes.
Because maybe some of the food going to get spoiled.
Why? They have refrigeration.
But it doesn't matter.
No, that's absolutely not the case. Why they closed on Shabbos? Food doesn't get spoiled.
But you talk about 8 days.
No, still. No, nothing. They're closed Pesach. So the reason they're allowed to be open, in case they didn't know, is because I can give a few reasons, but the main reason they're allowed to be open, that any time that something is done to serve the public, that overrides the other rule. So since they're serving the public, and they're enhancing other people's chalamod, that they can come and enjoy with their families and everything, and they're giving them an ability to have kosher food, so that is the only reason, that is the prominent reason why they're allowed to be open. Okay? So they're doing a public service. Liz, you're doing a public service. Tad, we'll talk about you a little later. Okay.
You're just there.
Huh?
He's
just there. Yeah. Liz, I want you to know, I went to my attorney last night, and he was telling me what holiday you're on, so I told him about Sukkah. He's not Jewish, what Sukkah, and he was really he says he's been in there. Okay, so then I won't say anything else. Okay. So he gave you a high compliment. Okay. So today is, like I said, the second day of Chalamod. We have Hoshana Rabbah coming up, which is on Sunday, which in a way it's like the 5th day of Chalamod, but really Hoshana Rabbah is the 7th day of Yontiv, and the 7th day of Yontiv is really the holiest day. It's really, we daven on Hoshana Rabbah as if it was Yontiv. The Shabbos is the davening.
Is that Saturday night to Sunday, or?
No, it starts Saturday night,
Okay.
and it begins, right after Shabbos.
The Safari,
And-
they don't sleep all night at Hoshana Rabbah.
Yeah, they don't sleep all night. Some people review the entire the fifth book
Devarim.
of the Torah, Devarim, Deuteronomy. They read the whole thing from the beginning to the end. You go into a shul, they read it. It takes about an hour and a half. They read it publicly like they do on Shabbos. They do one portion on regular Shabbos. They read the entire thing.
But in reality, why the 7 day, let's say Pesach, we have the 7 day holy and it's like Yom Tov. How come
Right.
on Sukkot it's not Yom Tov?
Okay, so I'm not going to get into that right now, okay? Because it's a long subject. It's a very good question. Why do we drive on that day? Well, stuff like that. Okay.
Because
Now-
the 8 days also we keep 2 days. I mean,
Right. Then we keep. Then afterwards comes Shmina Atzeres, and followed by Simchas Torah, because we're not sure which day is the 8th day. So
You got two of them.
so you have two of them. Now Hoshana Rabbah is really also a very special day, because that's the day, according to some people, which is the final seal. We say Rosh Hashanah were written in the book of life, and Yom Kippur was sealed, but some people say the seal doesn't come until Hoshana Rabbah. And yet, some people say even further that the final seal doesn't come until Chanukah. Now here's something very interesting, which I heard recently. If we look at the Devarim, the last 4 or 5 parshas have as follows: 30 psukim, 30 verses, 40 verses, 52 verses, and 122 verses. And if you take a look at it, and this always comes out during this time of the year. So take, for example, Parshas Netzovim has 40 psukim.
what's 40 Pesukim? 40? The total is 40 Pesukim?
Yeah,
You sure?
pretty sure. And Parshas Vayelech has only 30. And Parshas Hazinu, I think, has... you look it up later, because we're going to run short of time. I'll correct it. Anyway, the last few have 30, 40, 52, and 122. And those numbers correspond to the important days in this period of time. 30 is the 30 days of Elul. Before Rosh Hashanah, we have 30 days of Elul to do tshuva. 40 is the 40 days from the beginning of Elul until Yom Kippur. 52
it's at the end of Hoshana Rabbah.
includes from the beginning of Elul until Hoshana Rabbah. And 122 is from the beginning of Elul until Chanukah. So it's amazing that exactly the number of psukim corresponds to the periods of time that we should do tshuva and be at our best
40
behavior.
or 42? 30, 40, 50?
30, 40, 52, and 122.
But see, if the gate stays open until Hanukkah, that's from an opinion. How can you stop saying Psalm 27 at Hoshana Rabbah?
Okay, because not everybody agrees that. Okay, the truth of the matter is that the gates never close. You can do tshuva all the time. It's more accessible, so to speak. Now, Hoshana Rabbah is also a time where people who have not, like myself, people who have not done tashlach yet, some people wait until Hoshana Rabbah to do tashlach. So if you guys haven't done it yet, you can do it today. But they say it's more more special to do it on Hoshana Rabbah,
It's on Sunday.
which is on Sunday.
So if we've already done that, can we do it again?
Well, no, you can't do it again. Tashlach is a very interesting thing anyway.
There's no bracha in it. So
There's no bracha. Tashlach, we really don't know where it came from. It's an amazing thing. Every Jew on the planet does it, should do it, but we really don't know where it comes from. There is no source for it, so to speak. It's first brought down in the Maril which was a big tzaddik, he brings it down that it was a custom to do, but he doesn't say where it's from. And it's an amazing thing. We have a Jewish custom. It's the only one that we don't know where it came from. But yet we do it. And as anything else, once Jews are in the custom of doing something, we don't break tradition. Tradition is very important for us.
Do we have on 13 Midot on Tashri?
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is from the Torah.
Okay. Well,
Let the Chachamim add to it.
okay, but it's nowhere written. You can open up the Gemara. You won't find it. There's no source for it. It's only a couple of 200 or 300 years old, whatever it is. But I wait till Hoshana Rabbah because I know if I'm going to do it on Rosh Hashanah, by the time Hoshana Rabbah comes around, I probably have accumulated a couple of sins. So I wait to the last second. There was once a guy who he didn't want to go to Tashlach until the Munkacher Rebbe. The Munkacher Rebbe was a big Rebbe, still a big Rebbe, but there was it's a dynasty. It started many hundred years ago, and he would not go to Tashlach. He would only go as soon as the Rebbe went, and not even go with the Rebbe. He would wait till the Rebbe finished, and then he would do Tashlach. And somebody asked him, "Why do you do that for?" So what do we do at Tashlach?
Throw your sins into the water.
Throw your sins in the water. He says, "I want to wait till the rabbi throws his sins away because I want to pick those up because his sins are better than my mitzvahs. So I want to collect his sins." What? Yeah. Like probably tzaddik's sin is that when he davened, he had all kinds of concentrations and he accidentally, by mistake, slid in. He was thinking about maybe buying one of his children, a new suit of clothing, so he's doing tshuva for that he let that thought enter his mind. When we daven, we solve all our problems, not because we're davening to Hashem, because we have time to think about it. There's the famous story that the guy was doing a deal with a non-Jew, and he completed a deal, and then he went to daven mincha. You know that story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a cute story. So afterwards, after he finished mincha, he went over to his rabbi. He says, "Rabbi, I just realized I actually cheated the guy accidentally. I cheated him out of a few dollars, So what should I do?" He says, "Don't worry about it." He says, "The guy didn't daven mincha. You daven mincha. You thought about all your business deals. The guy didn't daven mincha, so he won't even realize it.
I know it's very hard to concentrate when you're praying. You're right. All the time.
Right. It's very, very difficult.
You have to start the Shemon Esrei sometimes 2 or 3 times.
Right.
In order to make sure that I
That's
get
right.
through.
You have to concentrate on the first 3. Very important. You don't concentrate on the first 3.
That's why
you should really repeat it.
Drop, a long time ago, they
The
had...
first 3 blessings, you mean?
No, they had 1 hour before they start praying. 1 hour they relaxing, mediation or something.
People still do that.
Meditation.
Yeah. Well, the Gemara says, "Chasidim Rishonim hoyishon sho achas koydem atfilah." The pious people would pause for 1 hour before they davening, and like Benny says, they would reflect and contemplate what they're about to do, and so before you start davening, put yourself in the right frame of mind. Others say that what did they do in that hour? They prayed. They prayed that their prayers should be good. So there is actually in many Sidurim, maybe I'll show it to you later, that it says, Tefillah, Kodim Tefillah, the prayer before the prayers. And it's a beautiful prayer where you're really asking God to open His ears to us because we're about to beseech Him, and so we want it to be accepted. We're now going into the latter part of Sukkot, and I just want to add one more thought because you guys enjoyed the 91 number with the Sukkah. Did you finally pick it up on YouTube?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did come through.
I don't know why I had such a hard time loading up into YouTube.
And that was on private.
Okay, excuse me?
It was on private.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
What about the 91?
Oh, you weren't here.
What?
Okay, then you can't stay for this because you weren't here for the first part. Okay, I was saying that the number 91 is very prominent in the Sukkah. Sukkah is the number 91. Amen is the number 91, and I said a few other things about 91. But here's a couple of more. On Sukkahs, what's the requirement on Sukkah?
Eat in the sukkah.
To eat in the Sukkah. So the word for food is machal, mem aleph chaf lamed, and that is 91. Okay. Now, one more thing. On Sukkahs, we're supposed to, in effect, the concept of leaving the Sukkah, of leaving the house and going into the Sukkah is basically telling God that we have complete faith in you. We don't need, we're getting rid of our worldly possessions. We're abandoning our house and the comforts and all the luxuries and everything. And basically, we compare ourselves to angels who are just living in the shadows of God. So what's the word for angel?
Malach.
Malach. And how much is malach?
Him, it's 40, Lamed is 30, 70, 20, 90.
Yeah, what happened to the aleph?
You have Aleph 2 in there?
Yeah,
Okay, 91.
91. Malach is 91. It's the same letters as machal. It's just
But they don't write Aleph usually.
They usually do.
They do really?
Yes. Without the aleph,
Melech.
it's melech. It's
King.
king. So with an aleph,
So you need...
it's 91.
I
So
thought Hamas, you know.
excuse me. Now where is everybody? Unbelievable.
5 minutes, let's rush.
We missed it, like, say,
You know, on Sukkot we have the 4 species. So the 4 species, as most of you may know, represents the 4 different types of Jews. You've heard this, right? What?
Yeah, I think I have.
Okay. So how does it signify? How does it relate to the 4 different types of Jews? Because we have 4 types of Jews. We have Jews who look like Jews, they smell like Jews, they taste like Jews, they daven like Jews, on the outside everything, and on the inside as well. Okay. Then we have some that look like they smell like Jews, but they don't taste like Jews. In other words, they're on the inside, they're not Jewish. And then we have some who just on the outside, but just on the outside, they don't look like, but on the inside, and then they have some that are neither. So that's the 4 species. We have the esrog, which smells good and tastes good. Morning.
Morning.
We have the hadassim. Was that the myrtle? Hadassim is myrtle. Hadassim is myrtle.
Yeah.
Which one of you? Well,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
The hadassim, they smell good. People sometimes use it during Havdalah for Borim or something. They smell good, but no taste. And then they have the lulav, which doesn't smell like anything, but the date has a taste. And then they have the aravos, which is the willow, which is neither tastes like anything nor smells like anything.
Actually, it has a smell.
So we get them all together. What?
Has
No, it
a
doesn't
smell.
have a smell. It maybe has a smell because it was sitting next to the hadassim.
No, it doesn't.
You know, it doesn't have a smell.
Smell.
So Benny doesn't believe me, so he's going to go smell his.
I have it in my house.
Yeah.
And the cops are going to get the wrong idea, Benny.
Where'd you get all that, Benny?
My house. I have in.
You grow it? And the one in New
You
York?
see, you feel this? Everything has a smell.
All right, but it doesn't have
Like if you smell the other one.
Like a spice smell.
yeah, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. It has a little like a fresh
So yeah, technically everything has a smell, you know.
But compared to the other, the one next to it.
So we bring them all together, we bring them into the sukkah, and unity is very important. Everybody, all Jews should be together. I just want to conclude with a cute story. You may have heard it, but I just want to bring out a little point about it. It's a story with the Barditchever, Rabbi Yitzchak from Barditchev. He was once living in a town, and couldn't get an esrog. And can you imagine a whole town? There's no esrog, and he was such a big tzaddik, so he sent his men out to go out on the road, and maybe they'll encounter somebody that has an esrog and lure him into their town. So lo and behold, they did find somebody, a man traveling. He was on the road, going to a different town, and he was carrying the most beautiful esrog. So they went over to him and they said, "Can you come for Yontif to our town and share the esrog?" So he says, "No, I can't come. I've been away from my home for 2 weeks. I'm going home for Yontif to my own family." They said, "You don't understand. You're gonna." He says, "Please come and speak to the Barditchever Rebbe." So it was no small thing to be with the Rebbe. So he allowed himself to come and speak to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe told him, "Look, if you come here and you allow us to use your esrog, you not only will you have the mitzvah, but all these hundreds of people that live here, they will all be able to get the mitzvah, the sukkahs." And he says, "I'm sorry, I can't, but my family's waiting for me," and he begged off. So then the Rebbe says, "Look, I promise you that if you stay here for sukkahs, I promise you great wealth and wonderful children who will learn Torah and everything." And he told the Rebbe, he says, "I appreciate it, but I'm a wealthy man as it is, and I have wonderful children that are learning Torah, and I just can't give up spending time with my family."
Give him the esrog and go.
What?
You should have given the esrog to the Rebbe.
No, he needed an esrog also. So the Rebbe says, "Okay, you leave me no choice. I'll give you an offer you can't refuse." So he gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. And what was the offer? He says, "If you stay here and spend sukkahs over here with me in my community, then I promise you that in the afterlife you will sit next to me in Olam Haba, in the world to come. You will share my space." And this is really an offer he couldn't refuse. And he agreed to stay. Right afterwards, the Rebbe went out to the community and he made an announcement. Nobody, Yontif came, he was stuck in the city, and he went out and he made an announcement in the city, nobody should let him eat in the sukkah. And the people were puzzled. Like, how can a Rebbe do that? And he put him up in a nice hotel in the town, but he told the innkeeper, "Look, give him the best room, prepare for him the best food, but don't let him into the sukkah." So he came Yontif, they finished davening, he went to the hotel and gets his meal and wants to go down to the sukkah, and the innkeeper says, "I'm sorry, the Rebbe says you can't come into the sukkah. You got to listen to the Rebbe, So he figured, okay, he'll go to the president's house. He went from house to house to house, and nobody allowed him in, and they all told him, "The Rebbe says you can't come into the sukkah." So he ran to the Rebbe, he says, "What did you do to me? You got me stuck over here, and now I can't eat in any sukkah." He says, "Look, them's the breaks." I said, "But I'll tell you what, if you let me off the hook, and you annul the promise that I made to you that you'll sit next to me in the world to come, then I'll annul the order that I gave to the community and you'll be able to eat in the sukkah." So he had no choice. He had to eat in the sukkah. Never in his life did he pass a yontif without eating in a sukkah. So he says, "Okay, you got me by the..." and he says, "Okay, you're off the hook." And he was able to go into the sukkah, and after sukkahs, the Rebbe went over to him and told him, "Okay, now that it's after Yontif, I am reinstituting my promise, and you will have a portion with me in the world to come." So then he asked him, he says, "I don't understand, what just happened?" So he says, "I'll tell you. When I initially made you that offer, you were going to get a portion of the world to come equivalent to mine for nothing. You didn't do anything. You didn't earn it. So I didn't want you to get something that you didn't earn. So, but now you earned it. Now that you're willing to give up that portion of the world to come, so because the mitzvah of eating in a sukkah is so important to you, that you were willing to give that up, it shows me what a beautiful person, what a tzaddik you are, that for one mitzvah of sukkah, you're willing to give up that, now you deserved it. So, we're back on. Okay, we're going to start davening. Have a good Yom Tov, everybody. Bye-bye.
Did you get my